there, kids! Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha, and it is Tuesday. See you next Tuesday. So, good stream last night, I think. We actually got a decent amount of work done, and we're going to continue that trend today. I worked a little last night with kind of finessing that kind of cover part that we were working on. And I'll show you what it looks like. It blends in perfectly at this point. So I'm real happy with it. We're going to continue working on the boosters, the fuel tanks, and the little pivoty bit that covers the fuel tanks. Those are all glued up and ready to work. Already went ahead and cleaned a couple of the pieces, and we'll clean a couple more and kind of get into that and everything. And then we'll start gluing in that kind of long spindly bit. I don't know what we're going to call it, but it is what it is. Yeah, we're going to continue doing that and keep pushing forward on this thing. I like the direction of these boosters. Julius last night gave a great suggestion about putting little, some, fuel tanks on the end of these boosters. So we're going to definitely incorporate that because I like the look of it. It looks like a Kingfisher, right? And I'm kind of digging that name, and I'm kind of leaning into that at this point, because Kingfishers are, they're fast, they're sleek, I like the idea about all of that at this point. So I think we're going to lean into that a little bit more, especially with the look of this, these boosters and everything, because it looks like the head of a Kingfisher if you look at it. So I dig it. I really dig it. So, let's say hi to everybody. Bill's, of course, with us. He says, howdy all. Bill, how the hell are you, sir? And we got Pete and we got Edwin with us both. Pete says, greetings, model citizens. Edwin says, hello, everyone. And then, of course, Pete says, a small bird told me this was worth doing. Plot plate. Plot plate. Here we go. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. That's the one. That's the one. All right. So, I am the joke is starting. It is starting to wear a bit thin, but still, it's still funny. So I think what we're gonna do is limit this to, maybe just a handful of smacks per show, and kind of get it as a collective smack. But anyway, let me ready myself for the carnage. Here we go. All right, so without any further ado, and without beating the bush and gilding the lily, we commence. Stop that shit, you motherfuckers! Twitch, clip that. Oh man, evidently Twitch, if you say that, it automatically clips it. So I'm kind of interested to see if that works. I don't know if it works, for everybody or not, but I saw the announcement on the tweeters. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. So I want to see if it actually fucking worked. Because if it does work, it'd be kind of funny, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Where are the little clips? Oh, screw it. I'll check it later. I don't really care that much at this point right now. Anywho, but yeah. It's fun. It's fun. Gio's with us. He says hello, everyone. Gio, how the hell are you, sir? Mr. Chris. Chris had a birthday yesterday. So everybody say happy birthday to Chris, Mr. Chris Reniger. Please. Everybody wish him a happy little birthday there. Happy birthday, Chris. Mr. Enrico, he's with us. He says, hey, everyone. He says, oh, no, people being rightfully plow whipped this early, right? Yeah, for real. For real. Pete says, make it Twitch exclusive, redeem, and monetize that shit. Oh, my God, dude, right? That would be funny as hell. Just be like, ba, 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 right? That would be great. Edwin says, that reminds me of your story from the old stream about Grandpa choose your own stick. Yeah, right? You got to get the right one, you know, because this one's too short. And, you know, the strips are cool, but they're flimsy, right? So you got to get something with some heft and some see the twang in it. You got that twang, or what? You know, the pop. That's what we're talking about. That's a good one right there. Just see, that's good. And it's, you know, it's fairly lengthy, not girthy, but lengthy. Yeah, just pop, pop, pop right there. Yeah, I think it works really, really good. So you gotta choose the right one. You gotta choose the right one. Edwin, happy birthday, Chris. Julius, happy birthday, Chris. Chris says hi, it's okay. Well, I mean, I wished you happy birthday on the Facebook yesterday, and I know you weren't. Were you on the stream last night? I don't even remember. I was so deep into this shit, I hardly remember. Enrico says, Feliz cumpleaños, Chris. Pete says, congratulations on another trip around the sun. Chris says, thank you, everyone. Looks like a sex toy. Wow, dude. Charles is over there on the Twitch. He says, morning. Charles, you're a fucking legend, buddy. Edwin, have you ever considered doing stand-up comedy? Oh my God, no. I don't have that timing or anything like that. There's no way. There's no way. Oh, hey, there we go. Charles says, happy birthday, Chris, over from Twitch land. Very nice. Very nice. Chris says, nope, I was working. Ah, gotcha. Pete says, you're beginning to sound like Adrian Peterson describing a switch if you're old enough to remember that. Oh my God, Adrian Peterson, yeah. You didn't see the other arm. Yeah. Great running back. Bill says, very happy unbirthday to everyone but Chris. It's a very, very happy unbirthday to me, to you, right? Oh man, talk about childhood classics there. All right, cool. So with that being said, let's get into it. And let's kind of show you everything that we did. Waiting for Gio's comment to come up here. He says, Tim, I think you mean plah, 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 plah plate. Yes. Chris says, love you guys. Aww. All right. So let's switch it over to camera 2. Yes. Yes. Okie dokie smokies. So here we go. Let's clear off just a little bit of real estate here. Now, which one did we... Okay, this is the one that we worked on last night, right? And as you can see, I went ahead and finessed this a little bit more after the stream, cleaned it up, and that is looking quite nice. So, yeah. Very, very minimal gap all the way around. It fits nicely, and then look at the profile. Ooh, the profile. The profile is everything, right? That's exactly what I wanted right there. Just that little lip here at the front of it, and then it just kind of gradually angles off into that top part. That's perfect. That's perfect to me. So, and that fits really well. Like I said, I finessed it down to it being snug, but not tight, right? There's a big difference. There's a big difference. So this fits in there real nice. It's got a pretty tight tolerance, and it's just so smooth with it. And then this side goes on, it marries up. Look at that, boom, just like that. Marries it up really nicely. That is looking really good. And then I went ahead and did the other one to match. And as you can see there, same profile. Same profile. So good. So good. Yeah, that I love that. That's what I'm talking about. So basically we switched these from hinged hinged parts to now static parts, and then we'll glue these in and really kind of make them 100% static in there. We'll glue the joint and glue all the way around and everything, and that will become one solid piece, and that'll be perfect. And then right before we jumped on stream, I went ahead and cleaned off one of these little fuel tanks. So these are looking really nice. And then I also cleaned up one of these guys. So this surface here, where that piece inserted, that's all cleaned up. The sides, these are all angled really nice. Use the God hand, little file thingy to get that all cleaned up. There, on the original piece, there is a curve right here. This inner part is curved. I hate that. I don't like that. So what I did was I removed the curve and just made it a straight angle there. So I like that so much better. But this is looking really good. I like how this came out. We'll get this kind of detailed and pop that into the piece as well. Get that static, along with its counterpart there. And then that is going to be kind of the profile. So, like I showed last night, it kind of looks like a kingfisher head, if you look at it, in profile. Because it has this nice long kind of beak-like, part here, and I just think it looked great. So, like I said, I'm kind of gonna. I think I'm gonna lean into the kingfisher idea. This may be the Hyaku Shiki kingfisher. Yeah, I kind of like the ring of it. To Andrew's point last night, to go along with the hummingbird almost, right? But unfortunately, I can't keep this one. This one is being sent off to someone as a surprise. So it'll be good. Anywho, let's get caught up real quick. Juno! Com shirt order going in now. What? Word! Let's go. Let's fucking go. What do we got? Ooh, a Mecha Army shirt and an airdrop shirt. Very good. Very good selection. I like it. I like it. Very nice. Very nice. Juno, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I gotta get the thank you videos done for the first batch of orders, and I'll include yours in that kind of batch as well there, Juno. But some of the orders from Friday have already been shipped out, which is awesome. I know Renee sent me a screenshot of her email today. Her stuff got shipped out. She bought a hoodie and a shirt. She bought, of course, a Mecha Army shirt in green, and then also a Bear Guy hoodie in blue, in baby blue or Carolina blue or whatever, because blue is her favorite color. She's blue everywhere. You can't go to her apartment and not like trip over something blue, you know. Yeah, very, very cool. Juno, thank you, buddy. I appreciate the support. I really, really do. That's awesome. Gio says, happy birthday, and I wish Bandai releases an Exia and Astray in your favorite color. Oh, the joke continues. I love it. The recall is perfect. Gio, golf clap. Golf clap. Very good timing. Bill says, Gio, bad, right? Oh, man. Juno says, probably going to grab a hoodie when it gets cooler out. I can't think of a hoodie in this heat right now. Oh, dude, trust me. I know. It's supposed to be, I don't know, you know, let's see. Oh, shit, dude. You're up in Reading? Okay. Hell, you're not too far. You're not too far. You're like an hour and a half. Fuck yeah. I'm in northern Maryland. Northeastern Maryland. So, yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's supposed to be, what, 90-some degrees today? Round our parts. Fuck, it's 88 right now. Yeah, 92 is the high today. It's supposed to be tomorrow, for those of you keeping track of Maryland weather, it is supposed to be a balmy 100 degrees. Triple digits, 100 fucking degrees. 100 degrees. God damn it. There goes the air conditioning bill, for those of you keeping track. And then Thursday is supposed to be 98. Yay. But then it's supposed to get back down to more normal Maryland summer weather in the 80s. And then next week, ooh, looks like we might dip down into the 70s next week. Hey. So, you know, Tim the Weatherman here for all of your Maryland weather needs. It's supposed to be a balmy 100 degrees here next week, today, Katie. How do you feel about that? Fucking sucks. Christ on a cross, man. This bullshit. Bullshit. Anyway, Bowie is with us. What up, Bowie? Hello, governor. Hello, mate. They say, always wondered, do you guys think real grade Wing TV version is underrated? I can't answer that because I never worked on one of those. I'm not into real grades so much. I don't ever have a real grade. Don't ever plan to work on a real grade. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody else can help, but I don't know. Let's see. Bill says, I don't mess with 144. Bill, right there, buddy. Right there. But it seems well received. Yeah. I mean, you gotta remember, Wing is a smaller, all the Wing mobile suits are a smaller scale mobile suit. So it is going to be a physically smaller model as compared to like the UC, mobile suits and things like that. So that's the one big thing that you have to keep in mind about working with Wing, is that they are smaller, akin to the F91 series. of mobile suits. So that's a downside. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I've never worked on those kits, so I don't know firsthand, unfortunately. Let's see. Juno says, yeah, I'm not far from you at all. That's why I ask when you're gonna do the workshop. Oh, that makes sense. He says, I'll drive down for one, no problem. Right? We gotta get that back to. Number one, there's a few steps leading, I think, to that, right? Number one, I gotta reestablish kind of my foothold in the hobby itself. You know what I mean? Because back before, during COVID times, man, everybody and their brother was able to watch because everybody was fucking working from home. You know what I mean? So trying to reestablish is a much harder prospect right now than it was back then, unfortunately. So for that, unfortunately, I have to play the social media game. So, you know, I gotta do the interesting reels and blah, 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 and all that shit. And I'm learning quite a lot about social media and kind of what works, what doesn't, things like that. You know, you're not gonna see me do, you know, funny, dumb shit, you know, TikTok videos and any of that. That's just not me, man. But like informative tutorials, those types of things, all of that, you know, those types of videos, that's kind of what I'm trying to get into, right? So it's all a process at this point, is just trying to reestablish myself and get to that point to do the in-person workshops. Yeah, it's a fucking process. It's a fucking process. So we'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually. Chris says 90. Gio says, thank you, everybody. I'll be here Monday through Friday. Yes. Nice. Let's see. 110. Ugh. 114 later. But see, you're in the fucking desert. You're in the dry. For this? Oh, the humidity, dude. Bill says, already did that, thanks. Totally looking forward to the 60 plus continuous days of 100 plus degrees. Oh yeah, being in Tejas, right? Bill says, ugh. Apex Nerd is with us. He says, afternoon all. What's going on, bud? Good to see you, man. Almanac says, have to try it, sorry. Pet G plate. It doesn't have the same ring. Just doesn't have the same ring. Sorry. Sorry, Pete. For the 3D printing nerds among us. well, you get bling. Instead of the beatdown, you get a little, you know, like a little Tinkerbell, like bing. I need like a sound effect or something. Juno says, dude, when I leave my air-conditioned office to go to my car, I feel like I'm swimming to my car. Yeah, it feels like you're walking in, like, soup. It's so bad. It sucks. Honestly, I wish I lived in a desert, but then my eyes would get dry and I'd hate life. So, it's a double-edged sword, obviously. Edwin says, seems like Almanax is looking for me. Hey! Nice. All right, let's go, kiddos. Let's get to work, yeah? Let's get to work. Let's see. Apex Nerd says stalkerish, right? Throwing you props, Edwin. There we go. Very good, very good. All right, kids, let's get it. Let's get it. So, with that being said, let's first do a little bit of cleanup on some of these parts. Now, like I said, I already went ahead and cleaned one of the tanks, and I cleaned one of these, whatever the hell they're called. So, we're gonna start cleaning one of the tanks first, and then move on and clean up this guy and kind of show you how I did it and process and all that good stuff. So I mean, it's very, very basic stuff, but still, it's good information nonetheless. So first things first, obviously, you got to get the really big, kind of squeeze out the the mounds of kind of squeezed out plastic. Just kind of get that trimmed off here, right? Do the heavy lifting first. All right, there we go. And now for this, I mean, it's honestly pretty simple stuff. It's very, like I said, very, very basic, type of procedure. I'm just gonna start scraping this seam, and I twist as I, twist the tank ever so slightly as I go to kind of feather that out a little bit. Because the last thing you want is you don't want a flat part on a round bit, right? A round piece. That's really, really bad. And that will start to flatten out real nice. And you see the shavings, coming off, especially on the knife. That's perfect. That's what we want. All right. And it doesn't have to necessarily be perfect right now. That's not kind of what we're going for. We're just cleaning this up a bit. And we'll go for perfect here in some next steps here. There we go. And just kind of, there we go. All right, so we've got this scraped down. It's still a little bumpy, and that's normal, but that's not, not the end of the world. So what I like to do next is take my little God hand file thing. And if you don't have one of these, that's fine. Just use like a sanding block or something like that. Just, something that has a nice kind of rigid base and something that you can use to kind of just go down and sand kind of the length of this thing. And again, twisting the tank in my hand ever so slightly just to get a nice curve. Very good, very good. Yeah, that's very nice. Very, very nice. All right. Perfect. So now to really kind of finish this off, just take a little bit of sandpaper and we're just going to sand the entire surface. And we're basically just feathering everything in. And this is going to even everything out perfectly here. Yeah, very good, very good. Now this front section really doesn't matter because it's going to be hidden by the cowling for the part that it's being attached to, right? But still, you know. All right, and there we have two perfectly cleaned up tanks. Easy peasy, right? Now, moving on. Oh, that's the cleaned up part. This is the part that we need to address here. Now, this is a little bit of a different, beast. So, when last we were together last night, we put those binder clips, basically our makeshift clamps. We clamped this in, and we got a good bit of squeeze out of kind of that melted plastic and everything. So first things first, again, I'm just going to trim off the high points here. Right down the length of this. And just start to scrape that down as much as possible as I drop it. God damn it. What the hell? I have like dust on my hands, so it's not exactly conducive to holding apart. All right, pretty good. Evened everything out. That's looking nice. All right, so now again, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my file, because this is wider than the part, right? And I'm just going to go and file this surface down. And get this nice and even. Starting to look really good. There's some low spots in different places, and we'll kind of get those eliminated here momentarily. There we go. Nice. That surface is nice and flat. And man, these corners right here are sharp. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okie dokie. So now we need to address the seams right along this edge here. Now the main thing is that we have to keep in mind is that there's two competing angles. There's the lower angle here, and then there's the upper angle, which is a different angle. So we can't just go and just flatten that out, because then it would look odd, right? So what we need to do, place this right up. We're gonna file along this long edge here, right? So first things first, just kind of do this. And that's gonna flatten that edge along here. That is looking pretty good. That looks a little bit better. All right, and then we need to line this up with this upper angle here. And that is looking really, really good. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. All right. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side here. Get that long, flat, angled surface first, right here. Very nice, very nice. And what you'll notice when you're kind of doing at this angle, right, is there's like little blobs of squeeze out and glue and everything that's squeezed out here. And you'll start to see them disappear on the surface that you're filing, right? Which is exactly what I'm looking for. That's honestly perfect at this point. So spin this around, get a little bit more grit, a little bit more tooth. Yeah, there we go. Now, with these little globs of super glue, I have a nice straight line of where they disappear, and that's perfect. That's exactly what you're looking for. Now we'll go in the competing angle here and do the same exact thing. Yeah, very good. That's what we're looking for right there. That's what we're looking for. All right, one more go around with this, and I think we'll be in good shape as far as the seam goes. Now, one thing to keep in mind when I'm looking at this part, and when I'm trying to keep the file at the proper angle, I'm only using one eye. I close my left eye and I only look down. The length of this thing to keep it straight with just one eye. That way you don't have that parallax. Like the human eyes can do. That way you can keep it way, way, way more even and more accurate and everything too. So keep that in mind. Now, one other thing that I like to do is just kind of flatten these kind of surfaces here where there's recess, just because those can get a little muddy in the Bandai molding process. Like I said kind of last night, I'm not sure if they put the same amount of effort into a high grade like they do some of the other lines. And, it may be cost cutting, it may be, labor, it may be the scale, it may be the size, I don't know. But I just find that the mold quality of high grades is a bit fuzzier than, say, your master grade and some of the other grades of models that Bandai puts out. It's just something that I notice. I don't, it may not be accurate, it may just be me, but I don't know. It may be something. It may be something. I don't know. Okay. That looks like a finished piece as far as the seaming and everything goes. Now, like I said, I don't like this inner curve right here, right? So, like with this one, we're going to go ahead and eliminate that inner curve, and we're going to, make that a nice inner inside angle. Now, to do that, we want to place our blade flat against the surface that we just filed and cleaned and everything, and bring that into the curve. And the knife will start to bite into that curve, right? And you don't want to go too deep at this point. You don't want to overshoot. You want to do the same thing for this angle here. Basically, you just want your hobby knife to kind of ride the surface of the plastic. And eventually, these two cuts will meet just like that. Now, we're not done just yet because there's still some curve to this thing that I'm not happy with just yet, but that's 90% of the way there, it looks like. So that's looking pretty good. So we'll do the same thing to up here. There we go. Now, when you attempt this, you're going to feel, if you really, really kind of pay attention, you'll feel kind of when that hobby knife is kind of lifting because of the curve, right? It'll go from, oh, flat, 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 oh, right about there, that's where it's biting into the, kind of catching and biting into the plastic. There. All right, I'm happy with that. And then there, we have a nice inside hard angle. That's perfect. Perfect. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, let's get caught up in the chat. Let's get caught up. Bill says, did you see the video of the recent build night posted on the tech? Shit, my eyes just went weird. On the Texas Gundam Club Facebook, over 45 people showed up in Louisville Hobbytown, and tables had tables everywhere. Holy shit! Unless it is intentional and you can duplicate that flat part on the other side, which is hard to get exact. Oh, this, yeah. But man, going back to this, that is cool as shit. Where I don't know where Louisville is. Is that close to like a major city, Bill? Is that like near Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, something like that? Because like if that's just like a, you know, hobby town out in the boondocks, then that, you know, I mean, no matter what, 45 people on a build night is awesome. That's incredible. Incredible. But man, holy crap, dude. 45 people, that's awesome. Jeez. Pete says, yes, breathe in deep. All those microplastics are good for you. Just breathe. Don't ever consider using air extraction or at least a vacuum when filing or at least when cleaning the sandpaper. I know, Pete. I know. Edwin says, I think I remember one of my local stores does pre-order for that God Hand file, but did not see it at the store. They probably canceled the pre-order. Yeah, I think what I need to do with this God Hand file, because you can kind of see the, let me see. Yeah, you can kind of see the bits of plastic stuck in there in the tooth. And I think what I might do is I might take a like a little torch or something like this to this and try to, you know, get that plastic out of there, because it's just, yeah, it's kind of being stubborn, right? And yes, Pete, I know, breathing in the microplastics. Oh, there's something about it so nice. Anyway. You could see, especially like these bits and these stubborn bits right in here, right? And I tried to take a metal brush to it, and that just, I didn't feel very comfortable because this is pretty fine tooth. So I don't really think that's the way to go. So I'm not sure the best way to clean this would be. I don't know. Bill says all those nice options, as is a basic dust mask if you want, but all of those would pose issues for streaming. True. Yeah, true. And Pete, I understand where you're coming from, and I know that's your thing, the safety and all of that. I get it. But live fast, die young. Let's fucking go. I kid. He says, not actually. Almost all builders, streamers I watch when in Japan wear masks to hide their face. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of a cultural thing, I think. So, yeah. Blaze is with us. He says, oh no, I'm late. That's fine, dude. You can rewatch. It's all good. Lorenz says, hey everyone, just stopping by to say hi before heading back to work. Have a nice stream. Lorenz, take care, buddy. Take care, man. Almanacs, Mr. Pete, he says, but in any case, any stream should be a secondary concern at best compared to one's long-term health, in my humble opinion. I can't disagree with you, Petey. I can't disagree with you. I don't think anybody can disagree with you. You know what I mean? I can't. But I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like it's hard to not overlook. You know what I mean? And that's not an excuse at all. It just kind of is a fact of it all, you know? I don't know. Excuse me. So, yeah. It's a vicious cycle. Bill says, I don't know the specifics on how much of a concern it is for sanding/filing plastics, but that is something to look into. Hell yeah. Swanky! Mr. E. Swank. Hello, everyone. What's going on, bud? Let's see. Bill says, I grew up at a time when we did a lot more hands-on stuff than is common today. So the amount of sawdust, plastic dust, and metal dust I have been exposed to might scare some people. Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously we all come from, well, not all of us, but, you know, Bill, me, I think Pete. We all come from that generation that, you know, drank from the fucking garden hose. You know what I mean? Like, come on. And you know, got dirt in our cuts and wounds and crap like that, and didn't give a shit, and, you know, mom didn't care or anything like that, and just, you know, you walk, you know, you scrape your knee, and mom's just like, oh, walk it off, you're fine. Like, you know, so yeah, it's, I don't know. And I'm not saying that again as any sort of an excuse. Again, it's just, I think it is what it is. Like in the good old days when people only lived to 45, right? Hell yeah. Let's fucking go. I've already outlived my expected lifespan by 3 years. Yeah. Bill says, I grew up at a time when we did a lot more. Oh, wait a minute. Did he double? Bill, you double tapped. You double tapped that one. Bill says, maybe try soaking the teeth in some thinner and melting the plastic particles off. Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. He says, my concern with fire would be ruining the temper of the teeth. Yeah, good point. Good point. I might try the thinner part. Yeah. I think I have some acetone. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm sure when I'll make sure to, when I do use the acetone, to not wear a mask and just breathe that in real deep, just for Pete. Pete, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking at your expense, and I'm sorry, but it had to be done, and I apologize. I love you. Don't hate me. Oh, shit. Edwin says, 45? In the Stone Age, you were a grandpa by the age of 30. Right? Tell me about it. Julia says, I remember getting a metal splinter in my eye. What? From shop class, and had to have it picked out by the doctor after trying to wash it out. Failed. Eye patch for a week, and the eye still has a scar on it. Oh. 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 Oh, that just, that right there just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'll be honest with you. That just, fuck me, man. Oh, anything having to do with eye injuries, just, oh, man. I feel it now. Stop. Like, it's a ghost thing in my eye that I feel now. Fuck's sakes. P says, back when the fix for every injury was Robitussin. Yeah, right? Put some tussin on it. Who did that skit? Oh, was that like, it wasn't Dave Chappelle, but I think it was somebody kind of in his atmosphere. Put some tussin on it, you know? Oh, I love that. He says, no, the cure for everything was Vaseline. Oh my God, right? And remember when you kind of got congested and everything? You're like, ugh, as a kid. And I don't know about you guys, but my grandmother, when I used to get, you know, congested, especially upper respiratory, she called it the croup. I don't fucking know if that's an actual thing, but what she would do is she would start to run hot water in the bathroom sink and put a towel over my head. And I would, you know, basically put my head in the sink, and the towel would cover everything. So all the steam, you know, I would breathe in and all that, right? That was her fix-all. It kind of worked, but it also kind of didn't. It just made me sweaty. But, like, whatever. I fucking love my grandma, you know, my nana, as I called her. God, she was great. Miss her all the time. But anyways, I digress. Pete says, and I ain't old. You must be mistaking me for that decaying Spectre George. Oh, no. Not George. Not our old school Gunpla. Come on, Pete. Come on, man. Oh, killing me. Killing me. I won't tell George you said that. Oh, dude. Poor Georgie. Poor Georgie catching shrapnel over here. Oh, buddy. Oh, man, oh, man. All right. So... Oh, fuck, I got this thing upside down. There we go. There we go. That's much better. Okie dokie. So now I'm trying to line up kind of where we want everything. The good thing is that I can just drill holes directly into this plastic and, you know, kind of pop these tanks in there, right? So that'll be pretty good. Maybe angle these up a little to match the angle. Yeah. See, I kind of dig that. I kind of dig the fuel tank kind of touching this arm piece here, because the fuel tank is wider. Yeah, you can see right there. Yeah, the fuel tank's wider than the arm. So maybe angle that there, right? And then I wanted to kind of stagger these. Let's see, what angle do we want here? Maybe right about there is what I'm thinking. Right about there. Okay. So... and then that way these go in flat and straight. And... yeah, so basically like that. That'll be kind of our silhouette at the back. These will be kind of like this. Come on. Kind of like that, right? There. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, like that. And I do kind of like them kind of together like that. Yeah. Okie dokie. So, with that being said, let's see exactly where we need, because what we're going to need to do is we're going to need, just like this stop block that we applied right here to make sure that this part didn't go down any farther, we're going to have to apply another one right here to get the angle for this, you know, for this arm, right? So, okay. Where, there it is. Cool. So, what we can do is just use this kind of like little square here and bring this to about a 90-degree angle right there. So that should be perfect for everything to come out, you know, nice and square, right? So basically what I did, you take the end of this, right, and you match it right up to the edge of the arm, right? You bring down the arm to match that 90-degree angle. That's basically what we're looking for, right? So looking at that, that's about 1 millimeter, or is it 3/4? Let me see. Let's see. Is this looks to be about 1 mil in thickness. Let's take a look and see. Nope, that's 3/4 mil. Crap. I'm just looking for a scrap piece of 1 millimeter plastic here. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Okie doke. So what I want to do, put that right in there. All right, so now that's stopped from going down any farther than that. Let's check our angles here. That's perfect. Yeah, 1 millimeter. That's a perfect 90 degrees right there. 1 millimeter stop block. Excellent. Excelemento. Perfect. Okay, so we know the exact length or width, thickness, of what we need. So, let's see. No, too wide. We need a 4 millimeter strip. What is this one? Nope, that's still too wide. All right, may have to get a new 4 millimeter strip. Or what is this? That is okay. That's what we're looking for. Now double check. This feels like 1 mil, and it is perfect. All right. So, yeah, what we're going to do is we're just going to apply that little stop block right there, right? Trim this off. That way the arm doesn't go down past this 90 degrees that we're looking for. And then that way we can drill straight into this. These will come straight out at a, pretty nice angle, I think. Yeah, I think that'll look nice. Let's do this. Let's get this back on here. Where did my nippers go? Here they are. All right. Perfect. All right. I'm just going to get a little drippy droppy super glue right there. All right, perfect. All right, excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now, real quick, while I'm at it, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Let's see, is that the, nope, that's the wrong one. Where did that strip go? There it is. Yep, perfect. Very nice. Okie dokie. So I do want to trim that back. I don't want it to obstruct any more than what it's, stopping at this point, right? This doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, just, good enough. All right, so there's that. Let's double check. Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. That's a perfect 90 degree right there. All right, yeah, I'm super happy with that. That's excellent. That is excellent. Excellent. All right. So, well, let's, before I get super glue on my nippers here. God, that sounded weird. I'm gonna get super glue on my nippers. Gives shades of fucking what's that dude from oh god, the serial killer from Silence of the Lambs. Something Bob, I forget. Anyway, somebody will. Bill says croup is an actual viral infection of the lungs. Oh, my grandma just said, oh, you got the croup. No, I was just fucking congested. Let's see, it ain't anything I haven't said to him repeatedly, loudly, in many variations. Poor George, man. Bill says, cooties was a nickname for lice? Really? I didn't know that. So the whole touching someone and getting their cooties was all about passing lice from one person to the next. Ooh, no thank you. No thank you. Bill says if you plan to have them together like that, maybe add a surrounding shield that comes off the boom arm and goes around the tanks just at the back end of the arm. Interesting. Interesting. And Bill gave us a link here. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, I don't know if I want to go that route, Bill. I'll show you guys what Bill's saying here. So I'm thinking, Bill, what you're talking about is this kind of shield cowling around like these thrusters and everything, right? All right, Shaw, this kind of deal, and this deal right there is kind of what you're talking about, I think. Hopefully. Let's see. Gio says, had to step away for a while. I'm pretty sure build meets might be fun, but having limited time, I would only show up for a 40K meet. Want to learn how to play. Pete says, did you cap that glue? Yeah. Discipline. Maybe a shield around, maybe a shield like this around the thrusters. Ah, yes. And Bill said, yeah. See, I don't know if I want to do that, honestly, because, you already have, this piece here, that, shield's part of it, right? So, and I kind of like the idea that, and you called it a boom arm, which I think is a good name for it, right? I like the idea of the boom arm kind of coming in contact with the tank here, right? Because it almost looks like a support type of apparatus or something like that for it. And what I might end up doing is curving this slightly to match the curve of the tank. It's an idea, but again, that's a hurdle that we'll jump when we get there, right? That's a hurdle that we'll jump when we get there. Now, putting this side back on, what are we looking at in terms of gaps here? So there's a definite gap between, you can see the movement back and forth, right? and I'm pressing the pieces together pretty hard. And there's a good at least 0.5 millimeter play there. So I'm thinking, what would 0.5 mil on both sides look like? Let's see. Maybe a bit much. What's 1/4 mil look like here? Okay, so 1/4 millimeter on that side, and then let's see what this looks like on both sides. How would that? Yeah, 1/4 mil on both sides. That's where we want. That's what will fill that gap there. All right, cool. All right, perfect. So we know the route that we have to take now with padding this arm out. This is too thin. That's 0.5 millimeter. Do I have? I don't have anything bigger than that, because we're going to need at least 6.3. Yeah, we're going to need at least 6.3 on this guy. I don't have a 6.3 by 1/4 mil out. Let's remedy that here. No. 32, 6.3. Bingo. Money, money, money. All right. There we go. All right, so 6.3 will be perfect for this. Now, I don't want to run this up the entire length. I want this to look kind of plated, and then from there we can kind of play off some angles and things like that, do some scribing and stuff like that. That can be, you know, pretty interesting. So I want to stop this at some point. So I will. Let's see, how far do we want to go with this? Let's see. All right, so all right, so there's our outline. So this is going to be covered by the other, you know, the main body of this piece. So we want to go at least beyond there. So what I'm thinking, from the cylinder, maybe go 25 millimeters. Yeah. So right about there. That's about midway on this boom arm that we're, you know, calling it at this point, that Bill kind of gave us the name for. And I'm not gonna leave it as a, you know, square you know, straight drop. That's just not, that's not what, you know, we're going to do. We'll fancy it up, but, you know, just for the sake of this, I think, now see, now that I look at it, maybe we go a little bit longer than that. Yeah, I'm thinking we go another 5 millimeters from there. So a full 30 millimeters. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Yeah. Yeah. So once this is, basically once this is mounted like this, right? It's kind of halfway between this point here and this inner corner that we made, right? Roughly. So I like the look of that. That, I think, is going to be quite nice. Yeah, okie dokie. So we'll go with that. We will go with that. All right, so now, before we do this, we need to think of what this is all going to look like in the end and kind of the design of it and all of that. So, let's kind of sand up this side here. And we'll do the same thing to the top. And then also the bottom here too. Now we're not going to be plating the bottom because, you know, we've already measured the stop block based off of the exposed, you know, bottom of this piece. So we're not going to be plating the bottom. We'll probably plate up the sides and then the top maybe as well. But for the bottom, I think we'll just, you know, scribe any detail that we need in there. So that should be fine. All right. So now let's get our mark back on here. We want to go again to 30 millimeters out. Right about there. All right, cool. And then let's get so with this, I think what we want to do So what I'm thinking is just something simple like that. Just a, 3-line. That's basically it. Have this wrap around the top here. And then let's see what we can do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And then maybe on the top like that, do that kind of cut out little type of thing there, right? So you kind of go from that to that nice little cutout there. And this obviously will be plated up in that shape, but yeah, I like the look of that. I like the look of that. That'll work. That'll work. All right, cool. So let's get to some cutting, shall we? Let's get to some cutting now. Let's measure off. What is that? That's 2. So that's going to be 32 millimeters that we need. Because we went another 2 millimeters for this drop line there. So 32 millimeters. Let's get that. Let's get this done up here real quick. We're going to need 4 of these pieces at 32 millimeters. All right. Right there. All right. Good deal. So let's make sure that's squared off. 1, 2, 3. And 4. There we go. All right, perfect. So we've got our 32 millimeter lengths of strip now. So we'll put the chopper off to the side. What time is it? 1:30. Sweet. All right, getting some good stuff done. All right, so for these two, actually, I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need 30 millimeters for the top. Shit. Okay. So we need 2 more. We need 2 more. Nope, that's not what I need. That's what I need right there. Okie doke. And then where did the ruler go? Shit, here it is. All right. All right, so these are now 30 millimeters. Oh, and these are going to be for the top of the boom arm. Perfect. All right, put that off to the side, put that there, put that over there. And then let's get to this. All right. So we need to cut our pattern in here first and foremost. Wait a minute, is that that's the top? Son of a bitch. These are the tops. That's why they're short. Dummy. Okay. There we go. Jolly good. Alright, and then what I'll do is I will glue them to kind of match this surface, right? So when we go for glue up, I'll use the stop block, put this arm down flat on the block itself, and then just marry those up like this with super glue. That'll obviously squeeze out and give us a nice little, you know, filler portion there. So yeah, that will be perfect. Perfecto. Where did strip go? There it is. Come back here. All right. So we need to do some measuring now to cut this pattern to make a master. So that comes up about 1.5 millimeters. So probably right about there. Money. And then we go 45 degrees from that point. Now I'm gonna need the 1 millimeters for this because this is too high. Let's see, let's get the 1 millimeter, 45 degree. Sheesh. Oh, there it is. Dropped out for me. Hey-o. And we'll keep the other one out just to be on the safe side. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So now we can take our stop block here and raise this up just a little bit and then bring this down onto the piece. Kind of right there. Okay, right there. And I'm just scratching that 45 into the surface. Now then, from the base, that goes up 3 millimeters. Okay. We have our 3 millimeter scribing jig. This is what makes all of this super, super easy. Press that down, and then from that angle, measure over, and then it's a simple straight run right up vertical at that point. So pretty simple stuff there. Okay. All right, cool. So now we have our cut pattern. Now we just take our knife ever so carefully. Right there, and then just cut out this chunk here. And there we are. That looks pretty good. Let me make sure this line is straight because it doesn't feel straight. It's not straight. It's angled a bit. Okay. Come on. All right, so for this, I'm going to use my chisel bit here. It's not much better. Not much better. All right, let's try this a little freehandy. There we go. That looks better. That looks better. Yeah, that's straight. Okay, cool. So, let's see how we did with this whole endeavor here. Yeah, there we go. That matches up real nice. You know, pulled back on the thing, but the line, yeah. Yeah, cool. Sweet. All right, let's get caught up in the chat here real quick because I know I've been working for a bit. Yeah, a lot of chat going on. Let's see what we got here. Bill says, Gio, there are tons of places to go for 40K. Yeah. Buffalo Bill, that's the one. Yeah. Gio, thank you. You mean Sideshow Bob, Billy Bob Thornton, Buffalo Bill. Puts the lotion on the skin. Yeah. Buffalo Bill. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Edwin says, I gotta go get my sleep. See you next stream. Edwin, take care, buddy. Bill says, not me, by the way. Edwin, bye. No, I got it. With the amount of current screen time, would it be allowable to refer to Bill as Tim's yes man? Aw, I don't know if yes man is a great name. Yeah, Bill says you do know that referring to someone as a yes man is an insult, right? Yeah, he says I get the joke because of what is on screen. Just and Pete says no, I did not. Your yes message has just been on screen forever. Oh, I left it up there, did I? Sorry, my bad. And tried to make a joke about it. Foreigner whose first language was not English. No, that's all good. No, yeah, all good, all good. Bill says, all good. I got the joke. There you go. Swanky says, gotta start working. Hope everyone enjoys their day. Swanky, enjoy your day, buddy. Willis is with us, Mr. Willis Jackson. He says, good day, everyone. Willis, how are you, man? Bill says, Tim, what order will you glue them? Thought it might be a good learning lesson as there are several orders you could attach them, and learning why you chose the order could help some people. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Basically, I'm going to start with the sides and get the sides glued up first because they need to be flush with this bottom. That's crucial, right? Because this bottom is not going to change at all in terms of thickness or plating or anything like that. So I'm going to glue up the two sides first, right? And get those trimmed because there's going to be, you know, excess plastic. And then from there, we'll plate the top. So yeah, that's basic order of operations for this type of thing. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it. Bill says, I presume the sides cut flush to the top, then overlap with the top and cut flush to the... Yeah, exactly. That's the way to go. Willis says, I'm fine, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. Excellent. Okie dokie. So let's get to that. Let's get these other pieces let's get this cut in and get these other pieces done here. So we need our pattern, right? And what we're gonna do, get that all flushed up there. Very good. And then we're gonna go simple, like we're just gonna use the nippers. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. And then what we'll do, just get a nice fine trim on that after removing the bulk. Perfect. All right, and we'll always use the first piece for this. We never want to switch off because then there will possibly be variances in the cuts and everything. So you always want to use your first piece as kind of your master template. And that way, the chances of them all being the same are that much higher. Perfect. Very nice. There's two. One more, and then we're getting to gluing. Perfect. All right, good deal. Good. Very nice. Perfect. All right. Nice. Now, since we're gonna do, I'm gonna do the same piece, the duplicate, off screen. We're gonna put these off to the side. We're just gonna worry about these two guys right here. All right. So again, what we're gonna do, we're putting the piece flat because this now is nice and flat. We're gonna put the piece flat on the stop block right up to the corner. So this is a perfect gluing angle. And then we're going to glue our piece right onto there. Now, the biggest spot for my tweezers is going to be right here. So that's excellent. Now then, we need to get the super glue going. Because I don't want to use Plastic Magic for this big of a glue up. You know what I mean? This needs to to hold and not be gummy under this. And this is only 1/4 millimeter plastic too, so it will soften this plastic up like crazy. So that's why I want to use super glue in this type of application here. So it's nice bead right down the middle. Now we're going to use our little needle applicator to just kind of spread this out. Especially down near the edges so we can get some decent squeeze out here. All right, there we go. Now we're in good shape. All right, part back on here. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So use this just to squeeze that up against the part itself. We got good squeeze out here, so that's going to fill in any little gaps or anything like that. So that's really, really good. And the part is stuck to the 1, 2, 3 block, so that tells me it even squeezed out on the bottom too, which is good. That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah, and then this, it can be easily removed. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, and we're still getting a little squeeze out on the bottom here when I press this piece in. Yeah, good, 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 good. Little cleanup around the edges of the plastic. That's to be expected, but that's really good as an overall. So let's get any other little bits kicked off here. There we go. Right there. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. We're going to let that set up for a few seconds. Let's get caught up real quick in the chat. And what time is it? 1:53 already? Oh my God, dude. Wow. That's crazy. All right. Let's see. Let's get caught up here. Look at this. We got Dairy Defender over here on Twitch. He says, they say, hey, what's going on? Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Dairy Defender. Very nice. Very nice. Bill says, so I have seen others put a tiny dot of super glue on them to stack, then sand them so they all end up as exact copies. I will do that for larger, thicker pieces, like 1 millimeter and stuff like that, maybe 1/2 millimeter. For the thinner plastics, I just don't find it's worth it. You also run the risk of them damaging the surfaces and everything. So yeah, if for 1/4 millimeter, I'm not going to risk it. I'll just cut it and trim it and fine tune it with my knife. But for thicker plastic, 1 millimeter plus, absolutely, yeah. You basically tack weld it. Just a teeniest tiny little drop of super glue in kind of the corners of your part, and then yeah, you go to work on it and trim them up. Yeah, But for the really thin plastic, I'm just not going to risk, the tear out and everything, the separation, because sometimes I have experienced if I put a little too much super glue on it, that it'll take a chunk out of the surface of the plastic. And with this very, very thin plastic, this 1/4 mil that we're working with, I just don't want to risk it. So it's just easier to cut it. So, but yeah, for bigger ones, absolutely. Absolutely. Willis says, what time did you start this today? We started at noon Eastern. Noon Eastern, yeah. Yep, there we go. Noon his time, Eastern Standard, yeah. Dairy Defender over there on Twitch says, I used to watch your content a long time ago. Well, thank you. Just haven't been into YouTube. Yeah, well, I've been gone for a while too, like 5 years. So we're back. What, 3 months ago? Yeah, 3 months. Well, I got laid off 3 months yesterday, so yay. But yeah, so we're back, and what is this? What's today's stream? 80? Is it 80? Something like that? Yeah. But yeah, we're doing one a day now, so yeah. Haven't been on YouTube in a while. Yeah. Sorry for the typos. I'm on some strong pain. It's all good. It's all good. Dairy Defender says my current project is third-party 1/100 Gundam Harut. Ooh, nice. I like that one. Plan on starting my master grade Perfect Zeong after I finish the Harut. Damn, those are some big-ass kits. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Go for the gusto, man. Will says that's 2 hours ahead of me. There you go. Bill says, okay, gotta get going, and yes, 80. Oof. Sorry to hear about the layoff. Yeah, it is what it is, but it was probably a blessing in disguise, because it gave me an opportunity to really get back into, the streaming side of things. So, and then obviously do some other things like open up the store that just opened up on Friday. And, kind of the next part of the plan is to, start making like guides and books and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it might have been a blessing in disguise. Might have been a blessing in disguise. Here's to hoping, right? Dairy Defender says, got lucky on the Perfect Zeong, got it in a bid for $100, not including shipping. That is a good price. Holy shit. Bill says, bye, I'll have fun. Bill, take care, buddy. Be safe out there. Stay cool, yeah? Stay cool. All right, good deal. All right, kiddos. Let's just real quick get back to this. Let's trim up this piece here real quick, and then we're going to punch the clock for today. And we'll be back on tomorrow. But first, let's get this cleaned up. Oh, yeah. This is good. This is real good. Because that super glue filled those gaps. Any little minuscule gaps between the plastic sheet and the actual piece. So this is great. This is great. And then up here, obviously, bunch of super glue squeeze out. And then we got some right here on our cuts that we need to clean up here too. So, all right, first things first, let's get the heavy lifting out of the way. Let's just start to trim, kind of rough trim the squeeze out off of this side here. And you can see that line, look at that little spaghetti string of super glue coming off of this part. That's perfect. That is perfect. And look at that. It came out in one fell swoop. So we had squeeze out along this entire length of the part, and that's exactly what we wanted. So awesome. Just awesome. All right. Very, very good. Now, what we'll do next is just start to scrape this down first, and then to really finish it off, go ahead and use our little God hand file thing here. And that'll give us a really, really nice married up surface. Yeah. And then the fingernail test, no gaps, no high points. Yeah. Really good, really, really good. All right, excellent. Now, next thing we got to do is clip off the top part here. There we go. And get all this started to even up. All right, and then we'll start the process here with the knife and get this trimmed out. Okay. Looking good so far. I'm just doing a rough cut here. I'm not being exact because what we're going to do here in a second is take the file to this and really get this flattened out. Let's do that now. Pretty good, pretty good. All right, so yeah, very nice, very, very nice. Okay, nice. That is nice and flat now. Passes the fingernail test perfectly. All right, so now the tricky part is to clean up the squeeze out on our cutout parts here. Now, we've got a little bit of super glue on the surface of this part. I'm just gonna trim that back a bit. All right, now to trim out the super glue around this cut, what I'm going to do first is make a vertical cut along the edge of the piece. Not too deep, just enough so that we can get the squeeze out. Yeah, see, there we go. That's perfect. So we get a nice crisp edge there, right? We're going to spin this around, do the same thing to the top side here. Again, not too deep. And then we'll do the same thing to the 45. Okay. Once we start to get this scraped out and cut out, it should just pop right at the places where we did our vertical cuts. Now, I'm going to use the chisel blade here. Comes in very useful in this type of application. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now, last thing we're going to do is I'm just going to file the surface of this plastic just to get it nice and even because of that little super glue that we got on the surface. You don't need a lot, just a little. to get that nice and even again. Yeah. And there we go. Nice. And there is our part. And of course, you know, we'll do the same process to the other side here. You know, and I'm not going to do that right now, but I'll do that off camera and get these two, you know, perfectly aligned. And yeah, that'll be good. So it'll be perfect on both sides, and then I got to do it 3 more times for the other boom arm and all that. So yeah. All right. So let's get caught up in the chat real quick before we punch the clock, and we'll get down the line. Willis wants to know what is this the section of? Good question, Willis. So this is the little arm here for this booster that we're using. This is from the high-grade Dovin Wolf. And let me actually put it on the other one so you can kind of get a picture of the silhouette that we're working with here. So that's basically what we're going to be working with, right? And there's going to be more. This is just the base detailing and everything like that. So we're gonna make this look good and everything. The reason for the plating here is to pad this out. We're going to make this arm static. We're going to glue this in place, and we're going to get this, you know, to look like basically one solid piece. We did the same thing. There we go. We did the same thing with this hatch right here. This originally opened up, and there were like little missile pods and stuff in there. It's not a gimmick that I'm into. So I decided to make that a static part. So we filled in everything. That's all looking good there. And then, you know, there's going to be our silhouette of that. And then we're going to have some booster tanks coming out of the back here, kind of like this. And then what's going to happen on the Shiki, this is going to be mounted where the wing binders originally were. So that's going to be the look of it on the Hyaku Shiki's backpack. So this is going to look really good, really, really good. And I'm kind of excited about it, if I'm being honest. So this is a good look, and it's shaping up really, really well, and I'm very happy with it so far. So yeah. Let's see. Pete says explosive diarrhea outbreak in Michigan. Oof. It's actually in a lot of different places. I think it's 13 states now that have this kind of, it's a bacterial infection or like a bacteria thing that gives people, fucking explosive diarrhea. So it's crazy, right? Pete says, not a news pop-up I was expecting. Yeah. Well, it's kind of been big in the States here. It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. Dairy Defender says, yeah, hopefully the opportunity works well for you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anthony, he says, hi, Tim. Hello, everyone. Anthony, how are you, sir? The Dairy Defender says, I'm planning on entering the perfect Zeong into a local competition. Nice. I plan on lighting up the mono eye and put a 1100 RX-7 prone under the right foot. Ooh. My plan is to recreate the scene from Giren's Greed. Oh, I like the sound of this. He says, I recognize the piece you were working on, but couldn't remember what suit it was from. Yeah, Dovin Wolf. The Dovin Wolf is, and it was like a donor kit from a friend. He says, dude, I'm excited to see how the Hyaku Shiki progresses. Yeah, dude, I'm really happy with it. So far, it's really, really good. And we're kind of getting to the end of it here, too. Because we've got the boosters, and then we've got the chest and torso, and the head. And those are the only 3 parts that we really have to work on. at this point. The rest, for me, is just duplicating details, and that's a slog. But yeah, this is coming down to the wire. This is coming down to the wire. So, yeah. Let's see. Willis says maybe you should have added boosters into that hatch instead. So the hatch here is the front. So yeah, it's not, you know, for this piece, I don't think it would make sense. For the back here, the tanks go in there, and then on the side, there's, nope, that's the wrong side. You have this cowling, and then you also have this big thruster bell on the side here. So there it is, right there, just like that. So that basically acts as our, you know, big thruster module and everything. So yeah, I dig it. I dig it. So all right, so Will says, or guns. You know, this is more of a fast unit, so more pew pew. Probably not the best thing for it to weigh it down and everything. The theme is speed for this, for what I've been working on and everything. So I want it to be light. I want it to be fast looking, and plus, we already did this beauty right here. So that's enough firepower for this thing, I think. So yeah, we'll go with that. So, all right, kids, 2:11, time to punch the clock. So we're gonna get out of here. Now, we're gonna be back tomorrow night at 10 p.m. And so we're going to continue working on these boosters. I'm going to try to get some of the other parts duplicated here if I've got time today. Aside from that, I want you guys to make sure you go out and pick up some... See what I did there? That was smooth, right? Also, just a reminder, the Child of Mecha store is now open. Links obviously in both chats, so go hit up that. Go pick up some shirts, some hoodies, hats, stickers, posters, everything. Pick it all up, if you can, of course, obviously. Support your boy. And then, like I said, we're going to be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. We're going to work on this, chat, have fun, and yeah, just generally keep moving this thing along. So, with that being said, kids, I want you to have a good rest of your day. Be safe out there. And as always, man, build something cool. All right? So stay tuned for the end credits. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Bye.